Hi everyone, this is Killshot99 Gaming. This is Fear the Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 4. We're going to do our bold predictions. We're doing these on Thursday night now because, as you know, AMC releases the episode early, and you can watch it on Friday night. So we want to get our predictions in tonight's video, so we get everybody a chance to get their theories out there a little bit early. Got some big news to announce to everybody tonight, so 3 or 4 things that we do have to talk about. And before we get started, do want to give a shout out to the patrons up on the screen. This should be 100% accurate at this point, all the current patrons. I know we got Mike Reiser up there. We got Daryl Stoltz added back up there. I'd omitted a couple people, but this should be 100%. So scroll through, find your name on there. If you guys can give the patrons a shout out, they do a lot for the channel. They're absolutely amazing. Thank you for everything that you guys do. I don't even know where to start with these awesome announcements tonight. We got really, really good stuff. Let me start with the great news, because this is like Will the Bill great news. And I was kind of hinting at it a little bit ago. You guys know when Will the Bill got the 999 Army tattoo, everybody was like, what? And he is like a permanent part of our lore, of our history, of our channel. He's a super fan. Well, Gina Crockett did something that is equally as impressive as Will the Bill. So this is going to, she's going to go down in history with this. She has, to my knowledge, the first ever 999 Army vanity tags. Awesome. I saw the picture today. You know, when you see this, you're just extremely humbled by it, and you know that our group has just grown, and there's just so much pride and so much, just an amazing group of people. So if you guys are having some issues, just S5 it or F5 it. And we got some weather going on, but you guys can. I saw it. It's great. 999 Army. So that means if you are in her state, you are not getting those tags. Those tags are absolutely reserved, and hopefully she never gets rid of them. So you'll have to find some creative ways to spell. Maybe you have to spell like 999 Army or something like that. But no, for a car. It's for a car, not a cat. Julia, okay, I get it. Because she's from California, so that's the California reference. So if you're in another state, you can get the tags, but you can't have duplicate tag of the same state. So there you go. But first, and awesome. I'm blown away. So when I see stuff like tattoos and people out rocking the shirts and representing at Comic-Cons and Nick and Norman's and they got on the back of their car, it's just really, really cool for me. All right, so let me make one more announcement, and then we'll get into today's stream, because you guys know the schedule is going to be a little bit sporadic. So actually, maybe 2 more announcements. So I saw Fluff jumped in a little bit ago. I was back and forth. He said, there's some, might not be able to make streams or all the streams. Let me say some things to you guys, and I appreciate, you guys know I appreciate you being here, the ones that are here every night. It's summertime. I totally get it. The expectation is that everybody's not here every night, and I know you guys probably saw the post a week or 2 ago, maybe a week ago, and I said, I'm going to be streaming almost every day between now and 4th of July. That wasn't because I want people to feel obligated to be here every night. It was because I know people are traveling, and I know people can't make all the streams, and I'm trying to do a little bit more streams to be able to be convenient to a lot of people that might be working a few nights and might not be able to attend every night. So that's kind of what's going on with that. But please don't feel guilty. I get it. There's family time, there's events, people are going to the beach, you need a night off, all of those things. I love to have everybody here participating, but please don't guilt yourself into it. Now, don't disappear for months at a time either. We will find you. But that's, if you got to miss a little time, you got to miss a little time. It's summertime. Everybody will be back by the time The Walking Dead starts. That's how we do it. And on that note, as you guys know, I will not be doing Freestyle Friday tomorrow night on Friday, but we will be doing it on Saturday night. So take tomorrow off, go out, have a good time, be safe, but be back here Saturday night for a little bit of Freestyle Friday, and of course, Fear the Walking Dead. All right, so that's all the stuff that we got going on. Kel took, oh, no, it's not. I got one more. Kel took a night off last night. I have to tell you guys, last night was my favorite type of streams. It was intense. It was passionate. I got hate mail this morning. I got accused of hating Rick Grimes and everything you could imagine under the sun. But I have to tell you, I also got some messages last night, and they said, Kills, this is why we joined the channel. This is what we came here for. We came here for the debate. We came here for the psychology. We came here, good, bad, indifferent. There are a lot of people who just really, really dug down deep and enjoyed it. And that's my element. That's what I love doing more than anything else, is kind of breaking down the show, even though I know there's going to be some people that they're a little bit hungover from it and they don't really love all the criticism. And it wasn't extreme criticism, but it was direct. So anyway, I had a great time. Hopefully you guys had a great time. To those of you that left some comments on the videos and really took it personally, I don't apologize. The only thing I'd say is you misunderstood the conversation. If you think that that I have any hatred toward The Walking Dead, any of their characters, or any ill will toward any of my group, our subscribers, the army, you don't watch our channel enough. One person left a comment and said something like, well, I started watching and I'm glad I skipped forward because you were debating with someone else. And I'm thinking like, well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is you skipped forward and you're not in enough streams and you don't know what we talk about in the relationship that we have. And it's a connected conversation. So anyway, that's where I'm at with it. And now we're moving on to Fear the Walking Dead bold predictions. So I saw a little bit of the teaser, the sneak peek, the clip from this week. Has everybody seen that yet? It's not a spoiler, but I just want to know if you guys saw Charlie hiding out in Daniel's car. Not everybody saw it. It's cool. I feel like most have, but if you didn't, I'm going to catch you up. So here's the deal. Charlie is behind Daniel's little Bronco, and I think it's a Bronco. It looks like an SUV. Skid mark follows Charlie over. Daniel hears skid mark, but Charlie gets in the back and covers herself up with a blanket. She's bold. She's very bold. Daniel opens the door, puts his gun in there, does not notice, Charlie's under a blanket in the back. And I guess this is where Daniel probably finds out. You can probably see up on the screen. But then Wendell wants to shoot. He's like, I've been waiting to use this thing from, Althea's little tank. And they're like, no, you'll turn her into Swiss cheese. But Charlie's pretty bold. She's like, nope, just let me handle it. I think Charlie's come a long way. So on a 1 to 10 sliding scale, 10, you're going to like Charlie's character. 1, you never forgive her. She's a little brat and she killed Nick. Give me your rating of Charlie from a 1 to a 10. Have a 10 being you've completely moved on. You're okay to see what the dynamic is. Number 1, you're just holding on and you'll never like her. Ella Smith coming in with a 4. Sheila Beasley a 3. Najee's moved on, 10. Jack 8. Tara 7. Gucci Gucci a 10. Viola 2. Emmy an 8. Gina's over it. Wilson's over at 10. Ever since she Kel's like, Kel, you been hanging out with Fluff? A 10 ever since she killed Nick. I wasn't a fan of Nick either. So, I'd say overall, all right, look, there's some highs, there's some lows, but it looks like some 6s and some 7s, and I'm good with that. Because this is what a 6 or a 7 says to me. The 1s and the 2s, D-Train is a 2, they need a lot more proof. The 10s, they're like, whatever, I'm just going with the flow, I love everybody. The 6, 7s, and the 8s, those of you, I can relate to you maybe a little bit more because that's kind of the way I was with Negan. I started out like I'll never forgive him. And then when I got to a 6 or a 7, I was open toward forgiving Negan, but I just needed more proof. So 6, 7s, and the 8s, you guys are like, all right, Charlie is making, she's getting there, but I need to see her do a little bit more. And I'm probably a little further along with that, but I don't disagree with you. I think Charlie does need to do more. I think she can do more, and I think they're going to write more into her story. I'm not ready to give her the Judith Grimes. I'm not ready to give her the Clementine mantle. But she's a character that I could certainly support because she's been on the verge of death. She's ready to walk away from it. And I feel like she has a redemptive quality now. That because she was ready to take her own life, she has another shot. Now she's got to make it work. I mean, look, she jumps in the back of Daniel's truck, back of his car, and she's willing to risk her life to help the group. So if you were a 6, that might be the type of thing that would take, from a 6 to a 7. If you're a 7, maybe a 7 to an 8. But you'll start to build that credibility. However, Alicia used to be an 8 or a 9. And Alicia, from what I've heard with most of you, she started to wear on people's nerves a little bit, right? Alicia almost, where she was, for me, she was like a 9. And I was ready to kind of, she could be a leader. Now I'm looking at Alicia like 7, something like that. I don't think they can make the same mistake with Charlie that they've made with other characters. And maybe it's intentional. But because Charlie, I don't necessarily want to draw an exact parallel between Charlie and Negan, but there are some similarities with how people are going to pursue them. Negan killed Glenn and Abraham. They were popular. Negan had to be redeemed. Negan wanted to die in jail. So they couldn't break Negan out and just give him the bat and say, hey, go kill some more people. Not because they couldn't do that, but because they know that seeing Negan walk around with Lucille at the wrong time in the wrong place would have brought back memories of Glenn and Abraham. Now that Alpha has become more evil, seeing Negan with Lucille might not be quite as bad as it would have been last season. So that's why I think there's a little bit of a similarity to it. So if Charlie is a little bit wishy-washy at this point, or if they make her too immature, I think they got to make Charlie grow up a little faster now that they put her in that scene with Alicia. But if they keep going back and going back and going back, and Charlie's a whiny little kid, I don't think it's going to propel her character. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's why they could make her more heroic than I guess we would expect her to be. So if you see Charlie doing some great things, then you'll know they really are trying to hype this character up a little bit more. Good. Okay. I want to talk about a couple other potential storylines. So, that's going to be a little bit of, do they get the plane? How's that going to go down? Are they going to be able to rescue? Are they going to be able to get back? So it does appear, ultimately they have to get the plane, right? They got to go back to Logan. Logan's kind of gotten a free pass. The dude is in the denim factory. He's basically taken his stuff. It was their stuff, which was his stuff, but you get it. We have not seen an evil Logan yet, and that's where some of the loose ends, for my money, have to start being tied up. You got several big storylines at this point. You've got Dwight making his grand introduction. Daniel could have been a big storyline, but right now, Daniel's just a dude with a plane. Maybe there's more to come with that. But we got the radioactivity. And we've got this group that took Althea. We don't know that they're part of the radioactivity group. So in theory, we could have a group of scientists that had radioactivity. We could have the group that took Rick. We could have the two groups being the same group. We've got the kids. The kids could be in with the group that took Rick or in with the radioactive group, or all three. You could have the kids, Grace, and the people that took. So there's a lot of things that still need to work themselves out. And while you have all that going on, you've got Logan, who basically doesn't want to give away stuff anymore and help people. He just wants to take over the denim factory. So once these other things start to play out, they have to get in the plane and fly back. I don't even know if that's going to be by the mid-season finale. But I also feel like Logan's going to have to up his villain game like threefold. Would you guys agree with that? Like, Logan's just kicked back. He's been a little kind of on the fence. Didn't kill anybody, let some people go. But in the second half, maybe Logan is the story. Yeah. Now, Najee, the kids are not connected to Logan. Because the kids are far enough away that they had to take a plane. But the kids could be connected to Grace and Grace's group that died, or the group that took Althea. Now, what's the deal? Really? This guy. Yeah, let's make him go away. Bye. I attract them. I think when you got something good going on, you attract those type of people. Logan has to step it up, says D-Train. So, is it possible, I guess anything's possible, that Grace was tied in to the group that took Rick, and they were doing some testing, and the testing got out of control, infected a lot of her friends, herself included, and that Grace may actually be the one that has the intel on the group that took Althea. And maybe she'll be the one to help them sort of get some revenge. I mean, what are those suits? Are those suits like some really high-tech, radiation-resistant type of suits? Is that a possibility? You know, they're wearing these really nice black suits. So maybe those were the leaders of the radiation experiments. They were the military portion of it. Grace was the scientist portion of it. And the scientist just got in a bad situation. Maybe trapped, sacrificed. A lot of good thoughts. Jim says they're controlling them by making new walkers. Jim, it's certainly possible. It's going to take me a little longer to kind of buy into that, though. The kind of the evil nature, and I mentioned this in a previous stream. I don't know what the incentive is to make new walkers. I mean, I get it with Alpha. I mean, Alpha needs the horde, and she needs to blend in with the group. But doing experiments, making a new type of walker, I'm not saying it's not possible. I just don't understand why they would do it. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they did something I didn't understand. But I feel like the radiation was a experiment to try to cure normal people. Okay, bear with me for a minute. All right? Almost like the Incredible Hulk. So they see these people, whether the person, everybody's infected. So when I hear A and B, and I don't know what A and B stands for, and I know we all have our own theories, personality types, before, after, bitten, not bitten, all of those. And anything can get into the works here. And we're all passionate about what we think A and B mean. But whatever it means, I think it's a test subject. And we'll find out what it means, but it's a different stage or a different area of development. So perhaps this group, the helicopter group that was, they're trading people. So obviously they need people for some reason. We know that for a fact, right? Jadis was supplying them with people. But the people, I asked this question a long time ago to you guys, and many agreed. What's the point of living in a zombie apocalypse if you're not trying to find a cure? So I feel like this radiation started out as a cure to try to experiment on those people. Hey, Jadis, we'll give you food, you give us people at different stages of it so we can test these different levels of radiation to see what's going to happen. And then I think there was either a accident or it went too far, and then some of the radiation started killing them. And then we learned that there are radioactive walkers because they used to be people, and now they're people that died from exposure to radiation, so now they're walkers that have radiation. So, and this would be one of the few times that we've actually seen a sophisticated group that's trying to find a cure. I mentioned to you guys a while back, if I had Eugene, I'd have him working on something. So, thank you. There's some people who get behind that theory. Now, where does Grace come into all of that? She was one of the scientists that was trying to do something maybe immoral, maybe unethical, but it was kind of like The Passage, right? I mean, doesn't it kind of remind you of a Passage story where they got these vampires and they're testing them and testing them and testing them? Well, how are you going to find a cure if you don't have some people that were bitten and some people that maybe the A's and the B's are people that had terminal illnesses that were going to die anyway in a short period of time? See, that's kind of what I could see. I could see the B as a person it's pretty imminent they're going to die real soon. Maybe they were bitten and you only got a certain amount of time to zap them with radiation. But then I look at maybe some of the other people they were experimenting on. It was like, hey, look, sorry, this dude's got he's got something that we can't cure. they're going to be the first person to be tested. And then they got more desperate and just started testing and testing and testing because they knew everybody's infected. And they became more and more desperate, so they just started throwing. So, Grace might have been a good scientist at some point, and then she started noticing, like, wait a minute, these people aren't sick. We're testing people that aren't sick. And then, some of her own coworkers got it. So now Grace said something that was important. I wasn't able to help them then. I'm able to help them now. So her mission is just really to kind of collect all this stuff. But she knows something. She knows something. She's got some info, and she's got a walkie-talkie. I think she will ultimately lead them to Althea. And I think we're going to get bits and pieces of that. So when we see Rick in the movie, we don't know at what stage these people are in. And kind of to tag on to what we talked about last night, yes, there definitely could be people that Rick could show leadership and could take over, because the big thing, the point that I tried to hit home last night in the movie, Rick cannot lead without opportunity. So this type of theory would be the thing that would give Rick opportunity. You got a whole bunch of people that work there that are now having second thoughts about the direction. They don't like the work they're doing. If someone else comes in, sticks to their guns, sticks to their principles, certainly could open the door. And it would also kind of create that real ambiguous type of movie situation where when we see Rick at first, maybe they're wheeling him through these halls or whatever, and we're thinking like, wait a minute, are they good or are they bad? And I think what we're going to find out is they're neutral, but they're twisted and they're desperate and they're leaning more toward bad. The one thing that we know about the zombie apocalypse, your morals start to go out the window eventually when it's you against the world. So even the people that are on the fence, more often than not, sway toward evil, at least some element of evil. There's very little good. And I ask you guys this question. Fear the Walking Dead, that whole universe, give me one person that you think has not tiptoed in the path of evil. Give me one person you look at and say, nope, they've been good, they've always been good, never kind of veered in the wrong direction. It's hard to find. Marcia, John killed some people, shot a dude's finger off. I mean, Valerie, Alicia's done some killing. But for the most part, the people have been a little selfish. Now, some people are saying Dale. But I don't know if you guys know this. In the comic book, Dale wanted to leave Rick's group behind, left Rick's group behind. Dale had some shadiness to him, where it was, let's take care of ourselves, take care of the kids. Now, I'm not saying that's evil, but I'm just saying that selfish motives start to kick in. That's all. Will the Bill, I'm about to create some walkers at work. I'm fixing to go lotion in a basket mode, listening while I work. Will the Bill, not sure what all that means. All I'm going to say is take a deep breath. Now, at the same time, let's be honest here. Right, self-preservation kicks in. It would be awfully hard to maintain your faith, no matter how strong your faith is. If there's anything that would test that, seeing your friends turn into walkers and eating other people might make you question divine nature. I'm sure it would give pause to your beliefs. Happened with Father G on multiple fronts. So I tend to think that we're already going to be leaning toward the fact of, and I don't know why. I don't know why we naturally assume that the group that took Rick is evil. It could be some of the backstory because we don't know what happened with Heath, and we don't know all the bargaining with Jadis and this group and what they did with the people. This is all we know at this point, though. Let's think about it. We know that Jadis has traded people. Okay? Now, we don't like that. We also know that Heath is missing. But we also know that this group looks to be healing and taking care of Rick. So we don't know that Rick's in immediate danger, but because Rick's not on the show anymore, I think we think, okay, Rick's in danger. And the writers are going to use that a little bit to their advantage too. And I do think he is. I just don't think it's immediate. They're going to have to do some things like lie to him and manipulate him a little bit more, so we really hate them. But we're getting a sense of who they are on Fear the Walking Dead. And Kel, I would strongly disagree with that statement, and I understand where you're going with it. But there's a name for taking people against their will and trading them, and they're certainly not better off because of it. And I know that's not the intent, but it's the reality of what was going on the show. So if you go to people and say, would you like to be a part of this, that's one thing. When you're just sending people to the unknown, no. They're not better off if they don't get to use their own judgment and make the decision for themselves. What I find interesting, and there's breadcrumbs all over the place. We know Jadis was trying to get people from Negan to trade for more food to take care of her people. Her people ended up all dying. Karma, right? Didn't work out the way she wanted to. We also know that the helicopter people after Rick, or we assume the helicopter people after Rick, have not been back. Nothing in the story or the time skip has led us to believe that anybody else has seen another helicopter. It could have happened, but the assumption is Rick was their last pickup. So whatever Rick is doing and whoever else they picked up has kept them busy. Maybe Rick got himself well and messed up their helicopter and ain't picking up any more people. There's a lot that the movie will tell us from that. But because nobody has talked about the helicopters, I'm comfortable making that assumption. Now, on Fear the Walking Dead, we're several months before they got Rick. So all we know at this point is Althea was probably kidnapped before Rick was taken. We don't know why, but it's likely this has happened prior to. What we also don't know is we don't know that Rick is even in Texas. This group could be going from Texas to Virginia. they could legitimately be the Commonwealth, and they could be smack in the middle. They could be in Ohio. So what if the crew from Fear the Walking Dead is what makes them leave, and then they go pick up Rick, and then they take Rick to Ohio? So because there's a lot of assumptions. Exactly, Dark Star. 3 rings, 3 possible locations. We could have the East Coast in Virginia, the South in Texas, and the Midwest or Middle America in Ohio. And Ohio could be their Commonwealth. So I think we got to be careful reading too much into Fear the Walking Dead. See, we got this Easter egg, and it's this map, and we know it's the people that took Rick. And then once we did that, we just went down this whole rabbit hole, right? We're just like, no, they took Rick back to Texas, and this is the group. But it's always, anytime we need a reset button, we got to go back and say, wait a minute. We got to look at the time it's all happening. So maybe Dwight and Morgan, they go beast mode, they save Althea, and they force these people out of Texas. Your experiment is done in Texas. And then they go pick up Rick shortly after that. So there's a connection between all of them, but it might not be as foretelling as we think it's going to be. Yeah, well, the letters A and the letters K, well, K stands for kill shot and A stands for Althea, which means, of course, I'm going to be the person to rescue her. No, I don't know. I mean, it could be Kentucky. Could be Alaska. It could be, we'll get it. But, I mean, we're still trying to figure out what the PPP stands for. But the one thing that is, I mean, there's 3 Ps, there's 3 rings. I don't know if that means anything. We'll see. But in this week's episode, the one thing I would look for is just any clue of Grace's storyline and how it ties into the people that took Althea. So we've got 3 interesting carrots on the end of sticks. And what I mean by that is they're going to be able to lead us for quite a bit, probably for the entire season. So the first carrot on the stick is Dwight and Sherry. So they can kind of make us ride all over Texas, and as long as they want to give Dwight a story or a clue, it could be Sherry's, we're going to be on pins and needles like, okay, Dwight's got to find Sherry. So that's one. The second search is going to be the search for the plane and getting back to Logan. And that's going to be lasting all season. And then the third search is Althea. And I think of all the things that are going to happen, the Althea search is probably going to be the biggest storyline of anything that happens because of the tie to Rick. Now, I don't think that's where the season's going to end. I think the season's going to end something to do with Logan. I think that'll be the back half, though. But I think what they're going to do in episode 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did you notice how, they teased us with it? They got right to the border where all those heads were, and they were just getting ready to go in, and they had the whole group and kick everybody's ass, and that's the way it was going to go down. And then, hey, the kids are back here. And the kids call them, and we got close to finding out what was going to happen, and we're like, yes, we're going to find out what's going to happen in episode 3. And they're like, no. So then they pulled us away from that plot. So it means they're extending the plot because this group they're going to find is the radioactive group. And that's going to be like the first real shocker that we get this season. We probably won't get it this week, but I think by episode 5 is where they're going to start to find this base and this experiment and these radioactive walkers. I would love to see something like a fortress. What if they have like a fortress? And guess what? Guess what you need? Oh, I got it. Boom. Light bulbs just went out. I just got it. All right. Heath is already gone. True or false, everybody? Oh, I figured it out. You heard it here first. I'm on to something here. No tapes. All right. Heath has already been taken, correct? There you go, creepy. Okay, when Heath was taken, what was left on the ground? The key card. So we know the group that went to pick up Heath had key cards on them at the time. So the key card, the PPP, was left. So they fly Heath back to Texas. Now, Grace had mentioned that her group got trapped inside. Well, you know what you need in order to get into these test facilities? She said it was like, she made some reference, I think, to Chernobyl or how you needed to get in. Well, in order to get in, you need a key card. So the group that took Heath lost their key card. Now, they have other key cards, but that was our teaser a couple seasons ago. Now it makes sense. So, and the reason is, I kind of thought of this is think we've never really seen anything like this, right? Think like Resident Evil. When you saw the radioactive walkers, didn't it give you like a little bit of a Resident Evil vibe, just a touch? Something creepy that they would do? Like an Umbrella Corp? So what if this group has their own little radioactive testing? They got some crazy experimental type of walkers. They got some leaders in there. They got Heath held hostage. Now they got Althea. So why not? Instead of the group always being out there and going through old damaged buildings and old beat up convenience stores and thrift stores and trying to get clothing, why not like a real fortified operational type of facility that they've got to be strategic and find a way to get in? Why not? We've never really seen it on The Walking Dead. I think it would give it a little bit of flair. E Beach, good evening, Army. I'm late. Homework. Well, you're here now, Eric. So we are going down. I think we made a big triangulation connection between The Walking Dead, the Rick Grimes movie, and Fear the Walking Dead. And that would tie things together. And I would love to see some intelligence and some ingenuity instead of, just cutting down a tree and letting a tree fall on top of a walker. I want to see if you need to take out a couple guards. Need to find your way in. It would be Fear-esque. It would be something that Fear would do now that they've introduced us to these radioactive walkers. But you can't get in without Grace. And that's why Grace is not done yet. Wilson, overlays could be different sublevels. I agree. I'm right there. Different floors, different, maybe they're not different states like we thought. Possibly some generators, some working elevators. Look, they got resources. They got a taser. They got electricity. They got food. They have helicopters. That's what she said, Logan. She said, exactly. That's what I was looking for. Grace said the power plants were terrorist-proof. So now they're going to have to rescue Althea from a fortress. So that's my super bold predictions for tonight. What do you guys think? If you guys like them, give this video a thumbs up. If you got some additional things to add, then let me know. I think we got some good dialogue around tonight. Hopefully, all of you watching the playback, you'll be able to add just a few more thoughts, a few more things that we missed. We're going to pick up on this throughout the season. This is where we start to funnel it down. So, look, we've got some broad theories out there. Some, I think, are going to be very accurate. Some, we're just kind of throwing it to see if they stick. And then we'll narrow them down little by little. But we're on a roll. This is what we do, everybody. We narrow these things down. We get some good, solid theories. But I can't do it alone. I need each and every one of you. Get me your thoughts, get me your theories. Even if we don't always agree on them, we got to analyze them and talk about them. We got Princess Pie Super Chat that says, I'm really a fan of the prediction stream. Kills, you left me speechless each time your theories make sense and almost well explained. And most of the time they are true. I just hope June will stay in the car. You know what? If she stays in the car and something happens to the car, I'm fine with that as well. And those of you watching the playback, keep in mind, our theories a lot of times, they take their own life. That didn't sound right. They don't take their own life. They take on a life of their own. What was I even thinking with that comment? We come up with something, and then somebody will add to it, and somebody adds to it, and it's a thought, a concept, and that's why we get accurate. It's just because of all the interaction and all the communication. So on that note, everybody, we're about 50 minutes in. We're going to cut it a little short tonight because the last couple streams have been they've been long. I mean, hour and a half, 2-hour streams. There's no stream tomorrow night. But we will do Freestyle Friday. It's one of my favorite streams. We're going to do that on Saturday night. So hopefully we'll get to see each and every one of you. It's very relaxed. We have a good time. It's casual. We'll start with the Walking Dead topic. And we'll probably do a few more bold predictions added in there as well, too. Thanks so much, Gusha Gusha, for that super chat. Appreciate everything that you do, from member to Patreon to super chat. And we got several people that are the trifecta, do all three. You guys are absolutely amazing. And like David Henderson said, strike the like. I like that. Strike the like. Ooh, that could be a t-shirt. All right. Shout out to the patrons. Thanks for everything you guys do. Channel members, the green team in the top right corner. Super chatters. You guys are awesome as well. Moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, always do an amazing job. And I'm going to do one big shout out for all the Army so you guys don't have to type the 999 tonight. Thank you for everything that you guys do. And I will see you all Saturday. Not sure about Saturday morning if it'll be Coffee with Kills. Definitely Saturday night, but it's a possibility we could do 2 streams on Saturday. The first one is still open for debate. All right, thanks, everybody. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.